Okay, so this is a very amateurish video about this tool I have created named Piano Pad. It's available on GitHub, so you'll find it at github.com/denotic/pianopad. So it's open source, it's written in Python. You can try to contribute if you want, or you can try to use it. I don't really know if that works for anyone else other than me, because I haven't asked anyone to test so far, and I have just released the code of a not really stable version, but at least something that is remotely usable. So the main idea of this tool is to use your launchpad as a piano. I have only a launchpad Mark II, so this is the one I'm using to do this. And this script is going to allow you to do some tricks like having it set up as a piano, selecting scales, creating custom maps, and even has a keyboard mode that is not completed yet. Anyway, to download the thing, you need to go over here in the release button. Right, so after you do that, you'll be able to download the thing. So let me just get this here and click over here on release. And you'll see the download. Just go over here, download the zip file, and you should be good. So after it downloads, you'll find a pianopad folder with a lot of files, and there is a pianopad.exe. That's over here. So you just double click this thing and you should see this UI over here. Okay, I hope you see the UI, because as I said, I don't even know if that build works for someone else. So it's this thing over here. So I would be capturing the screen, but what happens is that I need to show you the launchpad as well. So I'll be doing this with the camera. I know this is far from ideal, but I just want to show some basic usage. So first of all, you need to select your devices. The first two ones are the launchpad. The next one needs to be a virtual MIDI device. So in order to create this virtual MIDI device, I'm actually using LoopMid. So if we go over here, you can see I have LoopMid running, okay? And this instance of LoopMidi, okay, it's open, has a virtual MIDI device named PianoPad. It's a silly name, but yeah, it works for the purpose. So after you have this MIDI device created, please make sure you create this before opening PianoPad. The link for these loop meetings on the description of the video that has been created by Tobias Erkson. Not sure if that's the right way of saying the name, but he has a lot of stuff for MIDI, and we use this as a way of sending the notes to the DAW after all. Okay, so first of all, you select here Launchpad. Okay, first of all, even before that, you plug in the launchpad. Okay, so let me close this thing. Let me plug this thing in. Okay, it's here. And now we open it. And we'll be able to see the launchpad on the list over here. So we select the launchpad on the first two ones and the piano pad on the last one. And you will notice that your launchpad is going to light up in case things have worked. So what we have here is a simple chromatic scale. Okay, all that area over here works as a piano. You have ways of sliding the thing. Okay. It's not really working very well. Sometimes I'm getting some weird behavior. So let me try it again. And this is one of the things that needs to be checked. So let me select the devices over here on the UI. Okay, it lights up, and okay, it's working. So here you can use the buttons, the arrows to slide up and down the scale. Okay, as you move on the launchpad, you'll see the UI will move as well. So you use the other arrows over here to set the root node. So this is not going to be visible over here, but if you look on the UI, you're going to see the nodes changing. And if you click, if you tap the session button, it's going to move on to the next mode. Okay, so you have the list of modes on the screen. So you can see that as I change the modes, they have different layouts. So I'm going to leave the chromatic scale 2 columns selected. That is the main reason why I have created this thing. And here we have, for example, C4, this is C5, C6, C3, C2. So you have 2 columns. You can play this with 2 hands like a piano, right? So, whoops, right? So let me open FL Studio over here. And if I go to the MIDI settings, you're going to see there is a piano pad here. In your software, you just need to enable the piano pad input. You need to leave the launchpad deactivated, okay, disabled. So just enable the piano pad. That is the virtual MIDI device that has been created, and leave this as a generic controller, okay? Do not select any kind of controller in the list. Leave this as generic, so it just gets the MIDI messages, like, sorry. Let me insert an instrument over here. Let me get FL keys. So you can see FL keys is selected, and as I press the keys, and as I slide the keys, you can see so aside from that, if I change the root node, might not be very loud because it's 11 p.m. right now, but it works, at least for me. If you keep the session key pressed, you can move on. You can choose the mode, so you can go back and forth. Right, it's quite hard to do that one-handed. And if you hold the session key and you hold the user 1 key for a couple seconds, this is going to turn blue, and that means the user key is now a favorite. So if we look on the UI, you see that now the scale 1, the user 1 mode over here is now a chromatic 2 columns, right? And I can change to any other mode over here. For example, this one. And for example, this one. This is the major scale 1 column. right? So one column means it fills everything instead of having two columns. And if I press the user one key, it switches back to the user to the mode that I have set as favorite. Okay, same thing for user two. So if I get another one over here and I hold this with the session button, so this is now a favorite, so I can switch quickly between two different favorite modes. So we also have the volume key. This is going to define the velocity of the MIDI messages. So here on this one, that means 100, that is the default velocity. You can go up to 127, or you can select from anything over here, or you can even hold the volume key and press one of the arrows over here, and this is going to be decreasing the volume and so on. For volume, we also have the favorite mode, so if you hold volume and user one, it's going to turn blue, and you can choose another volume, set this as user 2, and it's going to turn blue again. And let's say you go back to the volume mode, you change the volume to something else, and you press user 1, it goes to the favorite volume 2, user 2, sorry, goes to the favorite volume 2, user 1 goes to the favorite volume 1. Okay, and the last thing is that in order to have improved workflow and make this more part of the way we work with the DAW, this mixer button is still not highlighted because this is an experimental feature. But if we press this, there is a mapping, has just a few keys so far, okay? But this provides actual keyboard input, like keyboard, not as in piano, but as in actual keyboard, okay? So here, for example, I have the arrow keys, and let me open here a text editor, or even let me show you that here in FL Studio. So you'll have to trust me that I'm using those guys over here, and as I press them, you can see they are actually changing the place, right? Here I have, for example, on this key, I have the shift key, and if I use shift and the arrows, I think shift, no, I think it's alt. Alt is on this one, it's not highlighted, one of those, but it does something else. Let me show you. So you can see that it does the alt and key arrow shortcut from FL Studio. So you can see over here, I'm holding alt, that is on this key over here, and this, and all the other keys are currently mapped to the letter A. So if you press any of the other keys in a text editor, it's going to input the letter A. So that's pretty much it. The folder is a bit of a mess, but there are a few key folders over here. There are the maps folder. Maps folder has the, sorry, not the maps folder. Forget about this one. Don't change this one. It's going to break everything. The modes folder. This one has the scales, okay? So chromatic and all this stuff, right? You can see over here, this is the layout for the chromatic stuff. Those are the notes, and those are the properties, simple stuff. And here on the keyboard, if you want to risk about trying it, you can just go over here, is the mapping, okay? And here are the colors. So this is an 8x8 grid. It's pretty much whatever is showing up on the launchpad. We use the launchpad color codes that you can find on the internet. Okay, so if you go to Google and type launchpad colors, launchpad please, and go to images, this is going to be the first image from launchpad fun. Okay, and this image has the color codes I'm using, right? So this is pretty much what I'm using to color it. So that's pretty much it. If you want to try it, download the links in the description. Any feedback is welcome. So thanks for your time.